Babe, I have to say, you conquered a lot of milestones this weekend.
Well, thanks, babe. I really did. I mean, my very first homemade chocolate pie is absolutely perfect, flawless, delicious.
It was. Now for the more exciting part, tell them about your first time driving the zero turn.
Look, the levers are sensitive, okay? I thought I was going straight into the well house.
I've never seen someone look so terrified going 3 miles an hour. Let's talk about a week of wild firsts we've had.
This is Sunday Faith, Weekday Chaos.
Where faith meets family.
And spinning in circles meets Sunday school. So let's just give a brief recap of our week this week. We had, or at least we're supposed to have had 3 graduations.
Yep, one on Sunday.
And then I was supposed to have one on Monday night. And then Thursday night we had a cousin's 8th grade graduation. So like Monday night was our 8th grade graduation. And I'm on our school board. So I just feel like I should be there. So Monday got detoured. You want to elaborate as to why Monday's graduation was postponed?
The buckets of water that kept on coming down from the sky.
How many inches of rain did we have on Monday? Sunday, Monday.
I think the last time I saw something like 6.5 inches, and that was like local.
So where our house is situated, we have a creek just to the east, the road that goes east and west of our house. So, well, I guess the creek goes north and south, but it's east of our house. You go down about 3/4 of a mile to the south as you go west from where we're at. But that road was flooded over before I even got to the big part that I knew was going to be flooded. And then the one option to go north to head out that way completely flooded over. Probably 100, 200 feet where it floods through there. So as far as lengthwise, and it's rushing water. It's not like it was just, you could easily get through it. So I think you got out at noon to head to work, right?
Correct. And the creek, it was starting to get ready to go over the road, but it wasn't quite yet. So that's when I called you and told you, hey, when you go, you may not go this way to go get little man.
Well, and Cecilia was still at school. She didn't have her last day till Wednesday, so she was supposed to come home on the bus.
Correct.
So I look out the window, I think it was right after that, and realized that the creek was rising and the pasture was already flooded. And so when I took break at 2, I thought I better go and see if the bus can get through. And I had gone to the east first because I already knew the way you'd gone out was going to be too flooded for me to get my vehicle through. So that was flooded. I checked the way to the north that I could have gone, and that was flooded. So all 3 exit points, which also means all 3 ways that the bus could have gotten in, were flooded. I think I called you and said, I got a problem. I think you took off work.
Yes, and picked up Cecilia and picked up little man from the babysitter. There was some water over the roads on the highway, but not terrible, just kind of typical in some spots on the way to get Cecilia.
Yeah.
Okay. So after I got them two headed back, which is probably maybe 35 minutes later, that the areas on the way to town weren't bad. Well, on the way to go drop them off to my aunt and uncle's, because I still got to get back to work, there were some spots, probably 6 to 8 inches of water over the road, in a couple places that I have never seen flood before. To that extent.
So we had already decided at that point, by the time you had to go get the kids from school and daycare, that there was a pretty good chance that you guys weren't going to make it home tonight. But luckily, we do have family down closer to where you work, about 25 minutes away. And they watch the kids, whenever we need them to, if they're able. And so that was the plan. You three were going to spend the night away from me, and I was going to have a night alone. But about 7, I think I was able to get out. It took me 2 hours to go get the kids and come home. So it was after 9 by the time kids were in bed. But you all made it home that night. So that was good in the end.
It's always nice to sleep in your own bed.
Yes. But leading into our week of wild and crazy milestones, or firsts, if you will, I think ties in with our graduation quite a bit. So I don't know if you caught it, but I know at least 2 of the graduates at our high school quoted Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And to me, it's one of those things where it's so encouraging to see the young people in our community freely quoting the Bible. And several of them are planning to continue their walks of faith. And to me, that's just so amazing. But I love how it ties in with the first that we had this week. So, quick recap on our firsts. So, Saturday, Matt and Cecilia, you guys went and picked up the new lawnmower.
Picked up a 0-turn at that.
This is a 0-turn that was something that you found a great deal from a buddy who was getting rid of one, or at least a coworker who was getting rid of one.
It runs compared to all my others. Well, not that I brought a 0-turn on, but all of my other projects.
Yeah, this one's not a project. It actually runs. That I was impressed with. But I feel like I had finally gotten to a point that I was like, I know how to run the lawnmower and I can run it well, and I didn't really have to have you just clean up a bunch of areas for me. And now we have a whole new project. So the comment about hitting the well, I mean, that's darn close to...
That was darn close. That's no exaggeration. I really thought you were gonna go. Then when I was walking with, had Creed in the stroller and walking with Cecilia.
Yeah, because I told you guys pretty much just to go away once you'd given me the directions on how to work this thing.
Which I was planning just to kind of stay away. But I kind of wanted to...
Be able to watch?
Yes.
The crazy unfold?
Well, not...
Yeah.
Yes, but I was hoping for the better. But just in case if you had an issue, I could kind of see, like, what led up.
That I needed help?
Yes.
And why?
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty touch and go. That thing is so fast.
Well, they say that you can mow up to 7.5, 8 mile an hour in it.
Oh my gosh. I don't even want to think about it. I did open it up a couple of times, but I don't think that I had the throttle all the way up.
I think it's rated for like, I think it's at 2.5 or 3 acres an hour.
Holy cow. But I mean, I didn't complete the front yard, but I did the side yard and the long east drive. And that usually takes forever. You can really open it up on those straightaways.
And the funny thing is, or ironic, is the same cut as our other mower.
What do you mean?
The deck is 54 inch.
Oh, yeah. So it's just the speed, right? That's really
Well,
giving us the difference.
well, not that, but it's when you turn. Like when you turn to head back, you can just cut out. Whereas a regular mower, you have to make like a U.
Oh, yeah. And then
Whereas
you end up with a
this,
bunch of teardrops.
yes.
That,
Whereas this, it's just a quick.
yeah. I think I left some skid marks in the yard.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, I don't feel so bad then. So, so another one that we had. So Saturday was a big day. I made my very first chocolate pie. I did two. Because I thought, well, if it flops, it flops. But I had two of the deep dish pie crusts. Because I've only ever made a pie crust from scratch one time, and that was when we did Thanksgiving at your dad and stepmom's. This is the only time I've ever made a pie crust.
Oh.
I am perfectly fine with Pillsbury, or now my personal new favorite, Marie Callender. Totally did not know that Auntie Marie made frozen pie crusts, but she does, and I thought they tasted quite good. So anyhow, but the chocolate pie, I decided if it flops, it flops. But if it does well, I'll go ahead and take one to Life Group on Sunday. So I thought it was a win.
It was good.
It's your typical. If it weren't for the fact that I know you had 3 slices of it or 4,
Hey, it's better than my typical. It's all right.
I know. Your classic one-liner. But
Uh-huh.
it really was good. It tasted like it wasn't just like I don't know, a weak chocolate flavor. I thought it tasted like a cold creamy brownie.
Which I can honestly say I just ate the chocolate out of it.
It's okay. You know, Creed, I think,
He destroyed that one piece.
oh my gosh, he loved him some chocolate pie. So I know he loves
Well-
that. Of course, what doesn't he love?
Well, that and when you were cleaning out the bowl
Oh my gosh, with the pudding?
spatula. Yeah. And
He did that first little taste and he was kind of like skeptical. And then he's like, oh, I need more of that.
I really loved it. And he just went,
Now, keep in mind, he's 11 months old for anyone who's picturing this, but he's an 11-month-old who discovered he really likes some homemade chocolate pudding. So, what was the other first? We had something else on Saturday. It was like bam, 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 first.
I got to cook my first cowboy steak or tomahawk, depending on what you want to call it.
So, tell us about this steak. So, where'd you get this steak?
I got it as a gift for my birthday, which was back in February, but we just hadn't had time, or at least the weather wasn't cooperating enough for us to really cook it, because we both agreed that we really wanted it on the grill and not just on the stove.
Yeah.
I talking to one of my coworkers about it Friday. He's like, you need to try to tie it up with butcher twine, because sometimes when it gets to room temp, it can kind of fall apart, or the meat will kind of open up, and when you cook it, it can cook really fast or dry out more easier. But he's like, if you tie it up, it will hold it all together and hold some of the juices where it ain't quite as dry. But I thought it was very delicious.
It was. Can you imagine if we had, I mean, that steak wasn't probably like, it didn't cost a fortune, but I've never spent that much on a steak. But can you imagine if we had just completely bombed that?
I was really praying and hoping that we wouldn't, and that God would be with us cooking it.
I mean, at least for the most part, you and I are at least pretty good at checking on things. But at the same time,
There's always that one chance of, well, in my mind, I just checked on it like a couple minutes ago, but in reality, it was like 10 to 15 minutes.
well, but can you imagine if, say, we had something happen with one of the kids and it's like, oh, steak's the back of the mind. Just forgot about that. I can't even imagine.
Same. I totally feel you on that one.
But it would turn out to be a really great team effort. I think that's one thing that you and I do really well is when we're smoking, it's pretty much always a team effort.
Correct.
So that was really good. Well, I mean, like Sunday, or, well, I guess Monday, because it was Memorial Weekend. Monday we smoked the ribs, and those were definitely a team effort, but those turned out really good. They're probably the best ribs we've ever made.
I 100% agree with that.
So, probably the biggest first that we tackled this weekend was one that I tackled, and not without my cheering section. Because, I mean, this is something we've talked about, I think, on here before, is just our serving roles, and one that I've taken on. This was my first time serving in our children's ministry.
How did that go?
It was really good. It's not way different than I thought. It's just,
What ages did you get to teach?
so they're essentially like pre-K to kindergarten. So it's like 4 to kindergarten. So I don't know, I think they're ages 4 and 5, maybe 6. So that age range. But the lady that does, or that's in charge of our children's ministry, she had sent out an email it was essentially like a timeline, but it broke down the different sections. So like you have the kids for an hour, and it was everything from, here's a get to know you, kind of an icebreaker for 4 and 5-year-olds. We didn't end up doing that one. I kind of did it different. And thank God she was able to have one of the other ladies come in with me. And she kind of walked me through, because though the timeline and the packet was really great at walking you through, I tend to be more of a see it than do it kind of person. So like, it's nice just to kind of have that idea, at least after the first time, of, hey, this is how you can do this, and you can do it however you want.
So were you glad that you decided to do this? Or is it one of those that really just signed myself up for this? And
I'm really glad I did it. So I think we had 7 kiddos Sunday morning in that class. And at that age, like, all I can think is God bless school teachers, especially of elementary kids, because I'm not sure I could handle that all the time. Like, it's like Cecilia is one thing, and like attention span is like almost that of a gnat at times. But
that's an understatement.
by the end of the lesson, I feel like the kids were getting it, or at least they were remembering what we talked about. And now piecing that together with some of the with some of the times that Cecilia's come home with a little saying stuck in her head. So this particular lesson was about sharing Jesus is exciting. And so one of the things that we did was you point with your right hand, point with your left, and you go here and now. And then you put your hands up like you're shouting and you say, God wants us to tell people about Jesus. And so by the time, and you repeat this several times, right? So by the time that you've gotten through a section of this and you're doing different things, the kids are repeating this and they're remembering what they're saying. So, like, as a parent, like, it always, like, there's a little part of me that every time Cecilia comes home repeating something about something she learned in children's church, it's just like, I'm like, yes, like, this is what this is about. So I'm super excited to be a part of that.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you really enjoyed yourself and that it's turning out great, like we both have thought and talked about it.
So I know that as you and I have discussed, like, this journey, because I mean, this wasn't something I decided on my own. I think you had mentioned a couple of times that maybe I would enjoy being in children's ministry.
Agreed.
So I think there was a piece of scripture that we had kind of turned to when we were looking at this and considering this in the beginning. Can you pull that up real quick?
Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight.
So, as you and I were talking earlier, that between that particular piece of scripture, I think tying into the children's church as we were looking at that, it was talking about your paths being straight. And the irony of another first this weekend was the zero-turn lawnmower, and my paths were anything but straight.
But with practice and encouragement, they would hopefully become straight.
Hopefully next time I get on it, it won't be quite the...
Such dramatic.
Oh my gosh, it was dramatic, wasn't it? Oh, some of those turns. But I think just in general, I think it's really great to embrace those firsts. I mean, we'd never advance if we don't try new things. So I think in general, it's just a really great thing to embrace the firsts that you come across. Sometimes it's saying, yes, I'll go ahead and try out that new lawnmower or that new recipe. And sometimes it's finally saying yes to the lady who keeps asking you if you're wanting to help out in children's church. But sometimes, like our graduates, it's just embracing a whole new
journey in life.
Yeah, whole new chapter. So, one thing I think I'll continue to do over the next week or so at least, because next week our kiddos level up, meaning they graduate from certain classes at church as their grade advances. So, like, Cecilia will stay where she's at, but last year she leveled up. Just to, in general, continue to embrace those firsts. Just like our graduates who are moving on to new, bigger, better things in life, hopefully. But I'm super excited about that.
We would love to hear from you in the comments if you have a first. Whether it's first time fishing, first time hunting, or whatever the case may be, comment.
And as always, we would appreciate you hitting that follow button. We look forward to talking with you guys next week.